Alright, it's Sage Wanderer coming at you from my van down by the river. So, is November 4th a giant nothing burger? Well, might be. Could be. Could be a giant nothing burger. I mean, you got to take that into consideration. So, let me talk briefly about why I think it's not a giant nothing burger. Why it's a something. Okay? Let's start with the Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement, or RAM. Now, this is a group that is an offshoot of Antifa, a more violent offshoot of Antifa. They have proclaimed through their own propaganda that they intend to murder police officers and that they intend to acquire weapons to fight a revolutionary war against the United States government. This is not me making this up. This is not conspiracy theory. This is words from their own mouth. All right? Then you've got Refuse Fascism. I think that's probably the thing that people have heard the most about, where they intend to fill the streets with thousands and thousands and thousands of protesters and how they intend to occupy and not go home. So then you've got proof coming out from investigators that these groups are being funded, along with Antifa, are being funded by George Soros, by Hillary Clinton, by Barack Obama. They have followed the money trail right to their 501c organizations, which are tax-exempt charities. So the money is flowing in. Yesterday, George Soros put $18 billion into his foundation, which is a charity. Now, most of Soros's charities are involved in overthrowing constitutional democratically elected governments in favor of communism. That basically anarchist destruction and mayhem is what he funds with his charity. And he just put $18 billion in. Now, why and to what end? A lot of people, a lot of my viewers will say, oh, well, he's dying and that's just him giving away his money. Okay. Well, what about the other argument that his foundation is a charity organization and it does a lot of things? Well, you're right about that. He's involved in these kind of plots all around the globe. And maybe that $18 billion is going to get split up amongst his various projects that are currently going on. However, for me, it's about the timing. He put this money in just at the right time. It looks to me like he is going all in on this revolutionary war that he's starting. Could I be wrong? Sure. And we're about to find out. If I'm wrong, I'm not going to throw a hissy fit or stick my head under the sand or disappear. And I'm sure you guys are going to line up with your ball bats and your little whipping sticks, figuratively on the internet and beat me up over this if it turns out to be a nothing burger. I'll say this, if it turns out to be a nothing burger, I will be shocked beyond belief. Now, there is one other argument why it might be a nothing burger, or why it may turn out to be less than a full-blown revolutionary war against the United States government. And that has to do with the rules of radicals. I talked about in a previous book how Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals are a playbook for the left, and that they're using this in their efforts to destabilize our country. And one of the rules is the threat has got to be way worse than the actual thing. So that's from their playbook. So all of these threats, they may be just that. Threats meant to make us afraid. I'm not going to take that chance. And I am making preparations, and I urge all of my viewers to make preparations as well. So if it's a nothing burger, no big deal. You're ready for the next hurricane or fire or earthquake that comes your way. I will say this. If they don't do it on November 4th, they're going to do it at some point. And they say it begins on November 4th. So that's just the beginning. That's if you want to discount what happened in Las Vegas and say that it had nothing to do with this planned revolution. That's if you want to discount these mysterious fires that occurred, 17 different fires in 15 different counties going up almost exactly at the same moment. If you want to discount that. If you want to write off the guy who shot Congressman Scalise, while he was trying to play baseball, as just a madman working completely alone. If you want to discount all of that, then sure, this just might be a nothing burger. But if you want to add all that up, it's certainly starting to look like November 4th will be very interesting, especially with a bank account of $18 billion behind it. You decide. It's up to you. I've made my decision. I've decided that I need to be aware, be awake, and not be caught flat-footed on November 4th. Hey, if you live in Dallas-Fort Worth, or if you live in Atlanta, Georgia, you know, if you live in Oklahoma City, you're probably not going to face a thing but an interesting few days of watching the news and following it all. But if you live in Portland, if you live in San Francisco, if you live in Philadelphia, if you live in any of these cities, even Austin, then you might be in for a rude awakening. Honestly, I hope it's a nothing burger.